So guys, our today's topic is the amendment of the Constitution, Article 368. So first we need to understand the meaning of the constitutional amendment. So it means the alteration of provisions of the Constitution, and the power to amend the Constitution is given under Article 368. It ensures flexibility while maintaining constitutional supremacy. Now what is Article 368? So it empowers the Parliament to amend the Constitution, and the amendments can be made by addition, variation, repeal of any provision, and it is always subject to judicial review. Now there are three types of amendments. First is simple, second is special, and third is special majority plus state ratification. So in simple majority, it is not under Article 368. Example, creation of new states, not given under Article 368. Then we have this special majority. So majority of total membership plus two-third members present and voting in the parliament. Third is special majority plus state ratification for federal provisions. Now what is the procedure under Article 368? So the amendment bill is introduced in either house, special majority is required, and in some cases ratification by at least half of the states. President's assent is mandatory. Now we have some case laws for this. First is Shankari Prasad versus Union of India. So in this case, the issue was, can fundamental rights be amended? And it was held by the court that the parliament has power to amend fundamental rights, and it was the first major interpretation of Article 360. Then we have the second case, which is Golaknath case. And the issue in this case was whether fundamental rights can be amended. Again, the same issue. And this time, the court held that Parliament cannot amend fundamental rights and introduce the concept of prospective overruling. Then came the case of Keshav Nanda Bharti versus State of Kerala, which is a landmark judgment, and the issue was same again, can fundamental rights be amended? In this case, it was held that Parliament can amend any part of the Constitution but cannot destroy the basic structure. And through this case, we get the concept of doctrine of basic structure. So, what is the doctrine of basic structure? So certain features are beyond amendment includes supremacy of the Constitution, rule of law, judicial review, separation of power. And it acts as a limitation on Article 368. So basically, Article 368 says that amendments can be made, and it also provides a procedure to amend the Constitution. But doctrine of basic structure says that amendments can be made, but Constitution will always be supreme. The rule of law must be present. Judicial review is mandatory, and separation of powers are also mandatory. For further explanation of doctrine of basic structure, we need to understand that the doctrine of basic structure lays down that while Parliament has wide powers to amend the Constitution under Article 368, such power is not absolute. Certain fundamental features of the Constitution form its basic structure and cannot be altered, destroyed, or abrogated, even by a constitutional amendment. These features act as constitutional limitations on the amending power of Parliament. Any amendment that damages or takes away these core principles would be declared unconstitutional by the judiciary through judicial review. The doctrine ensures that the Constitution retains its identity, spirit, and democratic character, preventing Parliament from exercising unchecked power and protecting citizens from authoritarian changes. And now we came to the conclusion. We understood three things in this video. First, Article 368, then we understood judicial interpretations, and then we understood the basic structure doctrine. So Article 368 balances flexibility and rigidity. Judicial interpretation safeguards constitutional values, and the basic structure doctrine ensures Constitution's core remains intact.